morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Casey, where we talk about market strategies and market conditions. Today, we're going to talk about 5 ways of maximizing profit. Before I do that, I'm going to take a sweep through the market so everybody understands where we are in today's market. We'll discuss, where the inventory is and interest rates and all that other good stuff. And then after that, I'm going to go over 5 ways, and I don't mean maximizing profit like $10,000 or $15,000. I'm talking about a house selling for $140,000 premium or $125,000 premium, and I'm going to go through that here. But first, let's take a look at the inventory. Okay, now the 30-day inventory is what I look at because this is a trend. This is where it's trending, right? So I look at all of Northern Virginia. Inventory is up 12%, which is good, but on a 10-year average for the same period, 10-year average, we're down 31%. At its peak in 2016 and 17, we're down 45% from the peak. Now, let me just give a little history here. Back in 2014, we had no inventory. We had a really light inventory. Then all of a sudden, prices went up, and when they went up in 2015, then all hell broke loose with inventory in 2016, late 16, 17, and that's where all this big inventory came in from. We are seeing the exact same thing right now. Last year, 2023, was an all-time low in inventory, and this year it's coming back. So we're monitoring how much is it coming back. 12% is nothing. 14% is nothing. We're comparing this to a crummy year, right? The most important ones are below. So the first one's all Northern Virginia, down 31% on the 10-year average, down 45% on the peak. What does this mean? This means there's not a lot of inventory. Sellers should be taking advantage of it. We are 24% over the value line. Our prices people are paying are 20 to 24% higher than they should. So if anybody's thinking about selling, they should be doing it now. Fairfax County, 30 days up 14, but down 29% over the 10-year average, 44 from the peak. And you'll see Loudoun County's following suit. Prince William County, same situation. It's up, but, it's really down when you look at the 10-year average. Arlington is actually down from where it was. So Arlington's not doing as well. They're not coming back as much. So that's the 30-day. Now, this is the more traditional where everybody would look at the 90-day inventory. The 30-day is trending. This is what we're really locking in on. Our inventory the past 90 days up 15%. Again, good, but look at the 10-year average and look at the peak. The same story no matter where we go on the 90 days. It's up a little, but it's down a lot from the 10-year average and the peak, right? So what does this tell us? This tells us clearly that we have an inventory problem. It is not fixed. It's getting a little better, but why do I watch this? Well, right now, we all list houses every weekend. I've got to know, is there a ton of inventory coming out? Is it coming? If it's not, I price it one way. If I'm competing with 15 or 20 houses, I got a whole different strategy for that, right? So for now, we're looking at, 90-day average in Prince William County, up 9%, but still down 36 and 45 from its 10-year average and peak. Okay. Vienna, I don't know what happened to Arlington. I don't know how those numbers got in there, but I'll have to redo that. Vienna, hey, 90 days, we're up 30%, which that is a little more significant than just up 12 or 13%. They're only under 17% over the 10-year average and under 40% of the peak. So the Vienna is saying that the inventory is coming back more in Vienna than in some of the areas around Fairfax County. That happens to be a prime territory for me. So, it tells me we're starting to get a little more inventory. Good for buyers. Now, this is a success rate. Now, this is what absolutely kills me. We know inventory is low, right? Well, if inventory is low, and even if interest rates have chased away a little bit of the buyer pool, still we don't have any inventory. Then why is 44% of the homes under contract? That means that 56% of the homes in Northern Virginia are not under contract. More homes are sitting there active than under contract. 48% under $1 million, 40% over $1 million. So 40% of the homes, 60% of the homes in Northern Virginia over $1 million are not under contract. And we have a massive inventory shortage. Go figure. And what we're going to talk about is, and this is why, now, let me stop here for a second. Some areas like Vienna is doing better and Oakton is doing better, and you can see around, but Northern Virginia as a whole, 60% of the homes over $1 million are not under contract. Now, let me tell you what's coming. We're now the end of April. Everybody's going to the beach at the end of May and the beginning of June, and they're not coming back. It gets cold in the summer. The buyer pools drift away. The sellers continue to think, if my neighbor sold here, I should be here. Now, let me just tell you, the withdrawal rate in July and August and September is going to be in the 40 to 50%. So right now, we're going to talk today about how we're making extra money, $100,000, $150,000 a deal. In July and August and September, it shifts to getting the houses sold. Because I'm going to tell you that unless you do it right, you're going to have a withdrawal or expired listing in the summertime. It's just, that's the way it's going to be. And I use historical data to project this, and trust me, I know it's coming. I've seen this. I've seen the movie. I know how it ends. So when we're in the success rate right now, look at Oak Hill, 66%. These numbers will all fall dramatically once we get into the heat of the summer, okay? So you can go on to CaseySamson.com to our market snapshots, and Julie has all these charts up where you can see how's the inventory, how's the success rate, how are sales doing, what's happening in my market. All right, so let's get on with how we're making money in today's market. Forget about tomorrow's market. Let's talk about today's market. Let me give you 5 ways that you can maximize profit in selling, and I'm going to give you an example of every way. So in Vienna, a lot of people's parents are 85 and 90. They're either going to go to assisted living or they pass. And the heirs have to do something with the house. So I got calls pretty much in the same week with 2 houses. The builder offered $750 for both houses. The one said, I'm going to take the money. The other one said, we told them, if you were to put $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 into this house, and we'll cover it, we'll pay it. You don't pay anything, but we need to put $70,000 in improvements. I think it's going to sell over $900,000. So they did. And we put in, so they got $750, and they decided they're going to listen to our strategy. We put in $70,000, so that means the base is now to $820. In order to make money, I got to get over $820, right? So it just sold for $965,000. So remember when I said, I'm not talking about $10,000, the benefit between $820 and $965 is $145,000, right? That's the benefit to the seller. Now, when do you ever have an opportunity to make $145,000 or just get it? It's net. So anyways, one way to do it is renovation. Take the old house. Decide. Sometimes maybe it's better for the builder to knock it down. Others, it's like the space, feature, and function of this house, we could add some money, renovate it, and make a lot of money. This is what most renovators do. So a renovator will come in, he'll buy your house for $750,000. He'll put in $70,000 and then sell it for $945,000. Why didn't the seller do it? We know what we're doing. We'll put up the money. We're in it to sell houses, right? We're in it to get established in neighborhoods that I'm going to get this guy not $750,000, but $965,000. I'm going to set a record in that neighborhood for that house. It's just good business for us, but it's great for the sellers. They make $145,000. So that's really one way that we did that. It's 2423 Drexel in Vienna. There's the situation. It's the list price. Again, I kept it under $900,000 with the list price because I didn't want to go over. right? So here we go. And we don't normally do a lot of renovations, but it's just sometimes when I have a house that, should we knock it down or should we renovate it? I think renovation is the way for some of these houses to go. All right. Okay. The other way, and I'm telling you, this saves us. If there's ever a game changer in the real estate market for us, it's the predictive analysis. I've said this before. 121 Tapawingo. I think it's worth 1.85. And again, I know I may talk certain numbers. Other people may be in 500s or 400s or 600s or 700s. It doesn't matter. It all applies, right? So I think it should be worth 185. Probably go to 19, right? So we put it on the market, coming soon, do all of our marketing, praise God, look at how great this house is. Nobody's coming to see the house. We have nobody on showing time. Everybody's looked at it, but nobody's going to come see this house. So I go to the sellers and go, the buyer pool is not at 185. Nobody's coming. We need to go to 1799. We go to 1799. We get 20 people come through the house, 30 people at the open house. Contracts came in the 185, 19 range, exactly where I thought it should come in. And then somebody said, I'll give you $2 million. So again, had we stayed with 185, we'd probably get 1.8. Because nobody's coming in with a contract. And what happens, you go into that little death spiral. The longer it stays on, the more everybody thinks there's something wrong with the house. And somebody comes in and goes, I'll give you 1.8. I'll give you 1.75. And then we beat each other up until we get to 1.8. Terrible way of doing business. Get to where the buyer pool is. The predictive analysis said it's not going to work at 185. Let's go to 1799. We got $2 million. Remember when we said, and this is about the buyer pool. So you got a buyer pool like this. At 185, it's here. It's not big. But at 1.8, it's this big, right? I don't know where that buyer is. It's going to pay $2 million, but I need all of you in this house. Now, as far as the commission discussion is concerned, somebody said, well, what if agents don't pay 2.5%? They pay 1% or whatever. When you do, the buyer pool goes like that because the agents aren't coming in. They know that you're going to screw them. They're not coming in. So what we're trying to do is open up the buyer pool, get as many people in. And here, I'm not sure where that $2 million buyer is, but we got him, right? And walked away. And the agent had the gall to say, oh, $2 million, that's a deal. That's cheap. You guys priced it too cheap. And I'm like, well, everybody else was at 185 and you came in at $2 million. So I don't know. I think I was pretty much the right price. But again, you can't say you're pricing it too low because you test the 185 or let's take out the one and let's say 850. We tested 850. Nobody's coming at 850. We move it to 800. That's where the buyer pool is. Let them storm the gates. Let them start bidding. Bid it up. No home inspection. No contingency on appraisal, no contingency on financing. We have yet to have a home inspection on any house that we've already done a pre-inspection. 37 out of 37, we did a pre-inspection. One seller said, I'm not doing a pre-inspection. They got an inspection. Their contract kicked out. Talk about that in a minute. This weekend, we put a house on Lupine Den. Incredible house, 175. Wasn't testing well. We're going to move it to 17. We moved it to 17, so 1699. I will guarantee you that house is going to get $1.8 million. But at 175, it wasn't going to get anything because nobody's coming. There's no showings. So also, Willow Branch, same thing. We're at 165. Nobody's coming. There's no market, no buyer pool there. Go to 1599. Now everybody's coming. Now the showings have started, and we'll sell that for 17. So what I'm saying is the predictive analysis, if you don't do a predictive analysis when you're listing and selling a house, you are flying blind. I could never operate unless I did predictive analysis. And we look at whatever. I'm just going to say it's hugely successful, okay? All right, let's talk about water bill. The third way that you really want to make money is for your clients is stay under major thresholds. Somebody said they listed a house for 430 or 810. 810. Let's say you list a house for 810, right? Well, people set their computer not showing me, give me everything under 810. Give me everything under 800. Give me everything under 850. Give me everything under 900. Well, who priced a house at 810? Why would you do that? You just took your buyer pool under 8 million, under 800,000, and this is the buyer pool under 800. This is the buyer pool over 800 that want your house. Why would you do that? Why would you not focus on the major thresholds? It's a massive mistake. You can look at all the homes listed and just go, what was this person thinking, right? So this home on Watervale, builder owned it. It was Mac Daddy. Other houses in the neighborhood are selling for 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. I'm like, look, this is 2.1 all day long. All day long, we'll get 2.1. And he's like, how can you be sure? I was like, trust me, we're going to get 2.1. We're going to list it for $2 million, but we're going to get 2.1. And he's a smart guy, very smart guy. He's in the business. He goes, I see what you're doing. You're staying under the $2 million, this many buyers, over $2 million, that many buyers. I get it. Smart guy, put it at $2 million. We got 2.27 million. We got 170,000 over what I thought we could get. And what happened was everybody comes to a Thursday night open house and they're all going, shit, man, how high do you think this is going to go? It's like, I don't know, but I know it's over 2.1 plus. I don't know how much more it's going to go over, but I got some California buyers that really like this thing, and a DC buyer really likes it. That house in DC would cost $3.5 million. So when we market, I'm not marketing to Vienna people on a Vienna house. I'm marketing to Arlington people and McLean people and DC people and Alexandria people, because that house over there is worth another $500,000 to $700,000. If a McLean buyer walked in there, you can't buy that for less than, $3 million in McLean. But in Vienna, it's, who knows? Huge way to make extra money. Stay under thresholds. Make sure you stay under thresholds. Justin, you must be so damn smart because you hear this stuff all the time. It's not rocket science. But I swear I could get out here. You give me my computer, and I will find you a bunch of listings that just went on the market at 810, 915. What the hell are you thinking? I just don't understand it. So anyway, all right. This is what we do. The renovation may be a couple a year, cosmetic updates, every house we do. Every single house we do. We come in, and again, my sellers are 50, 60, and 70. My buyers are 30 and 40. My buyers don't want to see what a house looks like. They don't want to buy their mother's house or they don't want to buy their parents' house, period. So we've got to take out everything out of the house that may make it look like it was 1985 or 1990. Everything. And it's very simple. And the math is very simple. If you spend less than 1% fixing your house up, you can get another 6 to 8% profit. So you spend, let's say, $10,000, you'll get back 70, 80. And again, if I'm wrong, it's because we get a lot more. On this house, Eagle Tavern, $875,000 was what the current value was when I walked in the door. We put in $8,000 in improvements. We got $1 million. So it's $118,000 in profit. Again, I'm not talking 10 grand here. I'm not talking at $15,000. I'm talking 118,000 is the profit she walked away with. So, this is cosmetics, less than 1%. And this actually brought back, I guess that's 13 or 14% profit on that house. And the worse shape the house is in, the more profit you're going to get, right? Because it's just paint and hardware and lighting fixtures. But if you were dated and it really looked bad, then your numbers down here is an as is, and it's up here when you're completed, right? So, the bottom line is this is that you can never go to a place, you can never go to Las Vegas and say, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bet $8,000 on a gambling in a game. I'm going to bet $8,000. And if you lose, you're going to make $50,000. But if you win, you're going to get $118,000. Who doesn't make that bet? So, yes, you have clients, they don't want to paint the house. I don't want to paint the house. The buyer doesn't want to paint the house. The buyer definitely doesn't want to paint that house. But if you could spend $8,000 and you could make $100,000, would you do it? Yeah. That's the old would you kiss a goat? If I gave you $100,000, would you kiss the goat? It's like, pucker up, coming in, right? I would kiss a goat for $100,000. Paint the damn house. Right. You bring in $100,000, I will kiss that goat. No tongues, but I would kiss that damn goat. All right? But I'm just saying, it's the same thing, right? Do I want to paint? No, but for $100,000, and you're not painting, my guy's going to paint it. And if you don't want to pay for it, I'll pay for it because I know it makes your home more sellable, easier to go, bigger price, bigger. We're fine with that. That's just the way it is. So that was the fourth way is cosmetic updates. Fifth way. Nobody wants a home inspection. But there's a big difference between a buyer home inspection and a seller home inspection. Okay. So buyers, let me tell you about the one house that we had a home inspection. Every house we do, we get a home inspection. And if something's wrong, we fix it. Oh, the beam is broke, fix it. Or the truss is broke, fix it. Crack in the basement, seal it. Whatever you've got. Not that we're covering or hiding, we're fixing whatever is wrong with that house. And there's a big difference between a home inspector that's working for the seller and what he says, and a home inspector that's working for the buyer and saying it a whole different way. So again, 37 to 37, we spent $500 or $650 for the inspection. If it had to go to home inspection, it's at least $5,000 of repairs they would find because they're trying to extort money from the seller. But the chance of it kicking out is massive, and then you're going to lose some money. I mean, not $5,000. You're going to lose $40,000, $50,000 if you got to go back on the market after missing a home inspection. So the one house, we go in, of course, they do a home inspection, the contract kicks out, they send me the home inspection. It is a freaking nightmare. You'd think this townhouse is going to fall apart and fall into the earth. And I'm like, what the hell? So I said, look, I'll pay for it. I'm going to have my home inspector go out and find out what's wrong with this house. We're going to fix it. He's like, it's fine. It's fine. Do this and do that, you're fine. So he wrote a home inspection. We fix this and fix that, and it's fine. What are you talking about? How could two people look at something and see, one, the house is going to fall down. They were saying the floors were uneven and you got to fix the beams. What are you talking about? It's a $600,000 townhouse. What are you talking about? So anyways, my home inspector goes in. He tells us fix two easy things, gives us a clean report, and that's what we're showing right now. Now, had we done that first, that contract never would have kicked out. We wouldn't have lost $50,000. So I kind of look at the sellers and go, I really can't insist, but I really insist. I mean, because I know what's going to happen if you don't do a home inspection, right? So I'm just, if there are some keys to success, doing a home inspection on every house with a seller home inspector, somebody that gets it. You look at a hot water heater. It's 12 years old. Buyer's home inspector is going to say, at or past its useful life, you're going to need a new one of these within a year or two. Go ahead and freak out the buyer. Oh, and that HVAC unit, yeah, that's not going to make it through the weekend, right? Our home inspector says this is a 14-year-old HVAC and is in good working condition. Why? Because it is. It's in good working condition. It's not broken. So there's a big difference in the way people say things, right? And at or past its useful life versus good working condition, that's the difference in the language used in the two home inspections. So we're not doing it to trick anybody. We're not doing it to try and fool anybody. We're doing it because the right thing is find out if anything is seriously wrong with the house and fix it. Then give that to the buyers so the buyer can buy the home with confidence and know it has been inspected. I get it. I got the home inspection. I can remove it from my contract because if we got 6 contracts, I'm not taking a contract with a home inspection over one without a home inspection. I'm going to go to them and go, they're offering this number. Can you match it? Yes. Then we're going with your contract. So if, and I know, and the worst thing you can have with a buyer, is have their parents in tow. Don't ever. Beware of it. That's why we do open houses. Oh, you brought your parents in here. Oh, and your dad, the DIY guy. Oh, good. Okay. He's going to demand you get a home inspection. That's why we did it. That's why you're going to do it. You're going to get a home inspection. I got 7 contracts. Did you want the house or not? So if you bring grandpa with you or dad with you, he's going to say, this is the way we did it in my day and blah, blah, blah. This is 2024. People are fighting for houses, man. Still fighting for houses, fighting for good houses. So if a house is not in good shape and it's overpriced, that is one of the 60% of the homes sitting on the market unsold. Now, I can't wait to see what those numbers are doing. Hey, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Tell Larry I said, hey. All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. If we think, these numbers success rates are kind of low, wait till you see what happens when the buyers leave. And then everyone puts their house on. And it's like, well, if Jim and Maggie got 1.6, our house is nicer than theirs. We're worth 1.7. Jim and Maggie's house is going to sit, or their house is going to sit. So we need to be very thoughtful now, moving forward. I mean, we're still in, get them on, do your predictive analysis, fix them up, and let's get them going. Still 100,000 over list price. Still happened last weekend. Twice. So those are still legitimate numbers. Fix it up, put in 10,000, come out, instead of 1.1, you got 1.2. But the key is you're not getting a lot of contracts. Not 6, it's 2. You just have one person anxious because it's the first weekend and they're like, oh my God, I got a bid. And we don't tell them how many contracts are. I never tell an agent how many contracts you have in a house. It's just contracts are due Monday at 2 and I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to tell you how many are coming in or what. Contracts are due Monday at 2, highest and best offer, no escalation clause, and just bid it up. Let me know what you want it for. And that's just the way it is. So are we getting more nervous now that, you only got 1 contract in or 2 contracts in? Yeah, hell yeah. It is a lot more stressful time right now, and it's getting more stressful. So that's what I'm saying. By the time we get to summer, stand by. Just stand by, right? So anyways, that was a look at the market conditions, the 5 strategies that we're getting premium money for houses. I mean, all our house, when you look at that and say, well, 40% of them are under contract, you look at those and most of them came on contract because they dropped the price, and then went under contract. I'm telling you, everything we have is coming out in the first weekend. It's going under contract. It's getting prices 100,000 over, 125,000 over. And these are the reasons why. These are the 5 steps that you want to take in order to get premium dollar. My name is Casey Samson. You've been listening to Coffee with Casey, where we come to you every Thursday at 10:30. Julie has all of these up on podcast, on YouTube TV, saying take a look at any time you want. Have a great week. We'll see you again next week. Thanks.